Contrary to what is commonly believed, the Boneyard is not a graveyard for aircraft. It serves as a place where aircraft are given a second or even third chance. Aircraft are brought here to be preserved and treated with respect based on my research. Although this particular B-52 may have been a rather challenging experience, it is worth noting that approximately 4,000 aircraft and parts are stored here, amounting to a staggering value of $35 billion. The technology alone in a single stealth aircraft is likely worth a fortune. Let me clarify why the Boneyard is far from being an aircraft junkyard. After World War II, there was a significant surplus of military aircraft, and it wouldn't have been wise to scrap all those old planes. They could be repurposed, or at the very least, used for spare parts. On the other hand, constructing large hangars to accommodate the storage of thousands of airplanes, some of which were massive, would have required a substantial investment. Fortunately, the desert lands near Tucson, Arizona, offered the perfect location for an outdoor storage facility. Not only because of the dry climate in the area, plenty of space was available in the desert. The Boneyard presently occupies approximately 2,600 acres. At its peak, this facility housed 6,080 aircraft. The desert floor was as solid as concrete, preventing heavy airplanes from sinking and eliminating the need for paving such a vast area. The dry climate and alkaline soil acted as protectors against the aircraft's greatest foe, rust. However, there was a significant challenge: the desert's scorching heat. Particularly during sunny summer days in Tucson, temperatures could soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. Enclosed parts of the aircraft, like the cockpit, were prone to even higher temperatures, potentially reaching double the external heat. Such extreme temperatures could gradually damage flight control systems and other electronics. Consequently, necessary measures had to be taken. This is why the preservation of aircraft is a crucial skill at the Boneyard. Nevertheless, storage is just one among the numerous services offered by this facility. That's why the Boneyard has an official name: AMARG, which stands for the 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group. They undertake fascinating tasks such as transforming fighter jets into drones. On a daily basis, one aircraft arrives at the Boneyard while another one departs. Upon arrival, the aircraft goes through the following process. Firstly, it undergoes inspection, and all the onboard components are meticulously documented for inventory purposes. Naval aircraft that previously operated from aircraft carriers receive special treatment by undergoing a thorough wash. This washing procedure aims to remove any saltwater or corrosive agents that may be present on the aircraft. To preserve the engine, the aircraft is relocated to the flush farm. There, any remaining jet fuel is drained from the engine. Afterward, the aircraft is refueled, but instead of using jet fuel, it is filled with a lightweight 10/10 oil. Subsequently, the engine is started, causing the oil to be drawn into the fuel system and engine components. This oil assists in preserving these components during their storage period. Afterward, the oil is drained from the engine and returned to holding tanks for future use. All aircraft then proceed to the cleaning station, where they undergo thorough washing and inspection to identify any signs of corrosion. As a precautionary measure, the actuators of the ejection seats are removed to ensure their safe storage. Due to the dusty and hot desert environment, specific parts of the aircraft are sealed using a water-based latex material called Spraylat. This black Spraylat coating helps protect the aircraft from dust, while engine inlets and outlets are covered with a cloth material called barrier paper, which is aluminized. These measures not only safeguard against dust, but also prevent birds from entering the engines. To prevent the cockpit from overheating and damaging internal components during extended periods of sun exposure lasting months or even years, a white coating is applied over the black coating. This white coating serves as a reflective layer, effectively reducing the absorption of sunlight. Thanks to this white coating, the internal temperature of the aircraft remains within 10 to 15 degrees of the outside temperature, even during extremely hot weather conditions. Now comes the intriguing part. Before the aircraft can be restored to a flyable condition, the layers of spray lat must be removed. To facilitate this process, a wide black plastic tape, similar to the one used by electricians, is initially applied to mark the boundaries of the area to be sprayed. This tape makes it easier to peel off the outer edges of the coating. Once the preservation process is finished, the aircraft is transported to a designated storage area. Without fuel in their tanks, these airplanes are not easily accessible for theft. However, the use of cables to secure the aircraft to the ground serves a different purpose. It is not theft that concerns the Boneyard personnel, but the wind. Considering that aircraft rely on the lift for flight, strong winds may not lift them off the ground, but they can certainly cause movement. This movement has the potential to damage the aircraft itself or other planes parked nearby. Therefore, larger aircraft often require up to 72 tie-downs to ensure they remain securely in place. One of the significant contributions of a MARG is regeneration, which involves extracting an aircraft from storage and restoring it to a flyable condition. Let's talk about the fascinating transformation of fighter jets into drones. Not just any drones, but these particular ones. This regeneration process requires spacious hangars, such as the $25 million hangar that took 4.5 years to construct. Apparently, someone thought that a massive hangar deserved a pair of equally massive scissors for the grand opening. Fortunately, a wise individual came prepared with a regular pair of scissors. The first full-scale drone conversions took place in the 1970s, starting with the conversion of 153 F-102 Delta Daggers into their drone variant, known as the QF-102, to be utilized as aerial targets. The regeneration efforts continued with other aircraft models like the F-100 Super Sabre, F-106 Delta Dart, F-4 Phantom, and F-16 Viper. Reactivating the QF-16 aerial targets typically takes around 3 to 4 months. These drones can be operated either with a pilot on board or unmanned. AIM-RG flight test pilots perform functional tests on the aircraft, usually multiple times. However, when the aircraft is employed as aerial targets, they are unmanned, or at least we hope so. In case you're wondering why the tail is painted red, it has no connection to the F-16 being converted into an aerial target in the U.S. Armed Forces during World War II. The red tail symbolized their pride, courage, and resilience in the face of prevalent racial discrimination at that time. Apart from regeneration programs, some aircraft are pulled out of storage for sale. In 2016, 2 KC-130s previously operated by the Marine Corps were sold to the Philippine Air Force under the Foreign Military Sales Program. These aircraft can provide additional airlift capabilities for the Philippines during natural disasters like typhoons. While certain fleets of older aircraft remain active, many of their components and spare parts are no longer manufactured. The Boneyard annually returns aircraft parts worth between $250 million to $500 million for use in active fleets, thereby preventing the need for grounding these aircraft. However, not all aircraft at the Boneyard are suitable for spare parts. Type 1000 aircraft possess a high potential for returning to flying status, so no parts are removed from them. They undergo complete preservation every 4 years. Type 2000 aircraft may be reclaimed for parts, but only by the owner of the aircraft or in support of the System Program Office, which specifically addresses issues with aging aircraft. Type 4000 aircraft are considered surplus and can be reclaimed by any military branch or government agency. When aircraft are no longer required, they are stripped of hazardous and radiological components. They may then be donated to museums or transferred to disposition agencies that coordinate their sale as scrap. It's worth mentioning that some aircraft have had their wings cut off due to international treaties. The Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty is an agreement between the United States and Russia aimed at reducing the number of deployed strategic nuclear warheads, including intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, and heavy bombers held by each side at any given time. Essentially, both countries recognized that they possessed excessive means to inflict nuclear damage on each other and decided to reduce their arsenals. For the Americans, this involved cutting 365 B-52S into pieces. To ensure compliance, satellite verification and in-person visits were conducted, as both the Americans and Russians have a great deal of trust in each other. The Boneyard is one of the 17 facilities in the United States where Russian officials can inspect to verify compliance with the treaty. Since the early 1960s, all surplus aircraft from the U.S. Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Coast Guard, and other agencies like NASA have been stored at the Boneyard. AIM-RG even stores aircraft for some U.S. allies, including Canada, where we are located.